welcome to Evie's Toy House, and today we are making a new pony custom. I know I have not done one in such a long time, so I'm really excited about this one. So today we are going to be making a character from the new Disney movie Encanto. I'm going to be making Isabela. And to make that custom, I'm going to be using a 6-inch pony of Rarity. I think Rarity is the perfect pony for Isabela because she is beautiful and quite a perfectionist. In her family, she is the perfect one. She is the golden child. She's beautiful and everything she does is pretty much perfect. So if you have not checked out the movie yet, make sure to check it out because it is so good. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. So for this pony, we are actually going to reroot the hair. So the first thing I'm going to do here is take off the head. So for Rarity, we're going to pop her head off. There it is. Here for her body, we're going to cut off the tail. And with a stick, we're going to push the stub through. Here it is. There's the hair on the other side. And for the mane, we are going to cut it off. We're going to cut it as close as we can to the scalp. And here's her hair. Next, with some long nose pliers, we're going to reach in from the inside and try to pull the hair out so that we can get rid of the purple hair on the inside. Oh, here's a clump. So my pliers can't reach all the way to the inside, so what I'm doing is taking a screwdriver and kind of just pulling it away from the scalp. So inside it's actually glued, so there's large clumps of glue. So what I'm doing is with a screwdriver, just trying to knock off the glue and thus pulling it off from the top here. Right, so here is the head with all the hair taken out. Next, we're going to take some acetone and remove the eyes and cutie mark. Here we're just going to wipe it off as cleanly as we can. You don't want to do too much acetone because you might remove the plastic. And of course the cutie mark too. Next we're going to paint our pony. Here I'm painting the head a light brown color. I'm going to paint around the eyes so that it'll be easier to fill in later. Here's the body. We're going to paint it the same light brown color. And now we're going to paint the eyes. I'm going to paint the lids half closed. The lids are going to be a darker shade of brown than the skin. Then we're going to paint the whites of the eyes. Once we're done with that, I'm going to paint in the irises. This is going to be a dark brown. After that, with a thin brush, I'm going to line the eyes. So here is the bottom of the eyelid, and also underneath the eye. Once we're done, we're going to add in the black pupils and 2 white reflective dots. We're going to paint her lips a burgundy red. And as a final touch, we're going to add her beauty mark. So here are the two pieces all painted. We have the head and the body still separated. At this point, we are going to move to part 2. But before we do that, we're going to seal the paint. And to do that, we're going to use a layer of Mod Podge. We're going to paint one thin layer and let it dry. So for this pony, I'm not making the hair out of clay. Instead, we are going to reroot her head with some real hair. Here I have a packet of dark brown hair, and I have my rerooting tool. This is essentially a tool that holds onto a needle that has a little hook on the end. So here's the hair. It's very long, so what I'm going to do is cut it in half. To do this, we need to take a little bit of hair and hook it to the end. Then while it's still hooked in, we're going to push it into the hole here on top of the head. When we pull it out, the hair stays in. So this is the long and tedious part. Every single one of these holes needs to be filled in with hair. Here's my progress so far. I think we're doing pretty good. And here's a few more down the back. Alright, and we are done. What do you think? Doesn't it look great? So right now the hair is loosely attached. It's only been poked inside the head, and you can still pull it out pretty easily. So what we're going to do is glue it down. To do this, I'm going to be using some quick hold glue. You can use any glue you want. After we drop it in, I'm just going to use a stick here and push it around to make sure that the glue covers all of the hair. Alright, so the hair is dried, and as you can see, it's now firmly attached to the head and you can't pull it out. Next, let's work on the body. So I'm going to be using some oven baked clay. This is the original Sculpey. We're going to take a little chunk of it and make Isabela's dress. Here we're going to roll it out nice and flat, and we're going to cut out our first piece and wrap it around the back side of the pony. Here I'm pressing it around the body so that it has a slimmer profile. Isabela's dress is multi-layered, so here we're cutting out a second layer, and we're going to layer it on top of the first piece. This layer is going to be asymmetrical, so that means it's going to be longer on one end and shorter on the other end. On the back of the pony, we're going to smooth out the clay so that it blends together. And then we're going to add a third layer. This one is also asymmetrical, going the other way. And once again, we're going to blend it in the back so that it looks like it's one piece. Then, going to the front of the pony, we're going to make the rest of the dress. For the collar and sleeves, I'm going to be using a special knife to cut it. As you can see, it cuts little waves. We're going to use small strips of this for the collar and also for the sleeves. And there we have it, the dress is done. So right now the clay is still soft, so we have to be very careful. And to cure it, I'm going to be using my heat gun. This pony is actually too big to fit in the toaster oven, so what we're going to do is use the heat gun and evenly heat the clay. Alright, and we are done. The clay is nice and hard. We're now ready to paint. Isabela's dress has a few shades of lavender in it, so I'm going to use these colors. And instead of using a paintbrush, I'm going to be using a sponge. This will give the paint a bit of texture to mimic the lace on Isabela's dress. I'm taking the sponge and dabbing it on the clay. The bottom layer of the dress is the darkest. The third layer on top is the lightest. Here we're taking a sponge and we're going to color the rest of the dress. For the little details, I'm going to be using a paintbrush. Once the paint is dried, I'm going to use a light lavender and line all the edges of the dress. I think this is looking really good. So next we're going to add the flowers. I'm not going to do a lot of details for the flowers, so I'm going to take a round paintbrush and dab the colors on. And I'm going to let some of these colors overlap each other. So here on each layer of the dress we're going to have the flowers, and also on the top layer all the way to the front, and also the neckline. Alright, and here is the dress so far. What do you guys think? Isn't it pretty? I'm going to take the head and position it into the body like this. Alright everyone, and we are done. So here is Isabela from Encanto. I think she turned out really pretty. I just love her long brown hair. It's nice and straight and goes all the way down to her feet. She has these big brown eyes. And of course, a little beauty mark over here. And over here we have a multi-layered dress. It is covered with flowers and is so pretty. So what do you think of this custom? Do you like her? Should I make more Encanto characters? So let me know down below in the comment section which character from Encanto I should make next. And I'll see you next time. Bye!